Sweat Equity Podcast and streaming show, the #1 comedy business podcast in the world. What award did we just win?
Comedy Podcast of the Year from the Southern State Business Awards.
Dude, Southern State?
Can you believe it?
That's like the Michelin star of approval from Podcast Southern State Awards.
Yes.
Guys, we're fucking crushing it. Numbers are going up. We're feeling good. Our boners still going up. Listen to us on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Put a little, follow us. If you want to be a superhuman, you hit that little bell every time an episode comes out so you get a notification. Give us a little review if you haven't. 5-star.
Don't push it.
Be our BFFs. Hey, man. Did you know plenty of today's occupations didn't exist a decade ago?
No.
Like esports game coach?
No.
Or cryptocurrency analyst? That should be snake oil salesman. From Etsy seller to podcast producer, new opportunities to build a career are popping up every day. That's why you've got to get hooked up with Squarespace. It's the ultimate tool for professionals to use to build a site, market your brand, and sell anything. That includes yourself. I'm going to skip a lot of that copy.
Yeah, I'm surprised you went back to that one.
And, I like the beginning of that. So what you going to do? Holler if you hear me. Go on our episode description. Hit the link in the description for your free trial. Hook us up. Hook yourself up with a little discount action. That's what we like to call the Double Dutch Rudder 69 B2B.
Totally say it all the time.
You know what a Double Dutch Rudder is?
Double Dutch Rudder 69 B2B.
Google that without your kids around. It's pretty funny. And when you're ready to launch and purchase a website or domain, let Squarespace know you heard it on the drop down from us, podcast Sweat Equity. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because we'd like a legit sponsorship from them, not affiliate link.
Yeah.
Let's get it going with Brendan Cobb. Hotty toddy.
It's called Sweat Equity.
Listening to the Sweat Equity Podcast.
Ready?
I'm good to go. You good, bud?
I am good, yeah.
All right. We let all our guests that come on the show for the first time do a couple things. Number one, tell us about yourself. Can you tell the crowd who you are, where to find you, anything to promote, any of that?
Yeah, thanks guys for having me on. So my name is Brandon Cobb. I've been doing marketing for just over 15 years now. Have helped small to medium and even large corporations continue to grow and profit. And, I definitely emphasize or specialize in the fact of making marketing be able to prove its return on investment and not just doing some type of marketing efforts without being able to attribute it. So I guess that's what I take joy in is making sure that the company is growing from all its efforts, but also I would say my why of doing this is I like to find companies that are doing good for the world or contributing something to the world. It is not like a charity or something like that, but like doing something of value to the world.
Progressive.
It could be a product, it could be a service, but it's something that is useful to people. And those are the companies I want to see continue to profit and grow so they can keep providing that value and do it at a larger scale.
Oh yeah. We love anybody who talks marketing and ROI on this show, because that's what that's our kind of mantra is without ROI, you don't really exist if you're doing any kind of marketing or strategy, right?
Yeah.
Outside consulting.
It sounds like it's a lot of reporting as well, from what I can tell.
Well,
you must be big on you said attribution, but we can get the nitty gritty.
Yeah, you're knee deep. You've been more into reporting the last few years than I have, but it's a huge issue. But before we get into that, this is the other thing we ask someone who comes on for the first time. What advice would you give your 13-year-old self?
my 13-year-old self would be to
we're super deep on this show.
Yeah, probably.
Dude, we blindsided him.
Just under.
We blindsided you. We blitzkrieged you.
No. I think it's about that learning and experience compounds, and so I would say, like, for me, I didn't necessarily. I mean, I did well in high school. I did well in undergraduate, but I didn't necessarily take those too seriously. It wasn't until I did my MBA where I started taking the schooling seriously. But then also, like, experience-wise, you took, when you're starting off and you're that young, you're taking on in the years ahead some jobs that you may just find as summer jobs, or that they're not going to be really that applicable to your overall career. But there's lessons learned in all of those jobs that can bring you something of value to you later, and you may not find out what that value is till later, but just be open-minded.
I'm just thinking of a scenario. Let's say he did go back in time to his 13-year-old self, and he just yelled, "Learning and experience compounds," and then just bounces. Yeah. And you're like, what was that? I don't know why I got that visual in my head, but maybe I was thinking of the new.
That's a new answer. We haven't gotten that one, I don't think.
Yeah, out of hundreds of guests, that's unique.
Yeah, I mean, everybody talks about I could have saved earlier and start saving money compounds, but I mean, experience and learning compounds too. So
give us, can you kind of give us your resume, Cliff Notes style? Like, where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school? That kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm from Ohio originally, about an hour outside Columbus, Ohio.
Nice.
And
brilliant stuff coming out of Ohio.
I pander to my Ohio people in the crowd.
God, just so meta.
You guys know what a Buckeye is?
It's like a bean,
nut?
Isn't it?
I go nut. He goes bean.
Poisonous nut.
Maybe, yeah.
Poisonous nut. Okay.
Nice.
But so grew up in Ohio, an hour west of Columbus, hour north of Dayton, small town. Went to Toledo for both the undergraduate and the graduate school, and now I reside in San Diego, California. I did a few years in LA before moving down here, but very happy where I'm at. I
saw the West LA area code number, and I was like, nice, this guy's serious. You got that 310 area code number, dude, solid.
Yeah. So when I moved from Ohio to LA, LA is weird like that. You need to find ways to get doors opened and things. And I had a 937 number coming from Ohio, but immediately when I moved to LA, I changed it to 310 because I figured people would answer the lines a little bit more if you're calling from a local number.
Oh, I was saying this before we got on the mics, but I was telling Eric, I was like, it's coveted. It actually is tough to get a 310 area code number because it's associated with people like living large on, Santa Monica, West Side, West LA, Beverly Hills kind of area.
Yeah, specifically West LA, and I think they're out of numbers now. So the only way you get a number is by somebody giving up a number, and briefly it opens up. So
it's going to turn into like there's some Middle Eastern country where they all try to get the lowest number license plate, and like number one is like millions of dollars. It's going to turn into that.
It's like Highlander.
The lower the number you get, the better, the cooler you are.
Yeah. The 310 status is like it. When did you live out in LA?
So I picked up that number in 2015, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
Beginning of 2015.
I lived out there 06 to like 2010, and like if you had a 310, you're legit. But like you got that 818, dude, 818 till I die. Scammer Central. It's like having a Boca Raton area code number. 561.
I'm not going to get a new phone number, so I'm not really paying
561, dude. Yeah, I know. I just think it's fun. I think it's funny how these things exist. Like in New York, 212 is really tough to get because that's Manhattan, old school, first area code. Yeah. Call me Graham Bell, dog.
No.
Call me the Boost Mobile, Alexander Graham Bell. So you get down to San Diego. You're down in San Diego now, right?
I am, yeah.
And your why is really, I think, similar. I don't want to speak for Eric, but similar to kind of how I feel. It's like I just like being a part of the story of getting them from X to Y you came in the office or we had an intro call, you were here. I was part of that formula to help you get to there, right? I'm not going to be around forever as part of the agency or help, but ideally the best clients you grow with them.
Yeah, for the last year or two, that's what I've been doing is really this fractional work where it's hop in, hop out, and set up some infrastructure, set up a scalable system, and then let people get to work on that. But I don't know if that's what I'll be doing forever. I'll still take an in-house job, but it's also this is working out well in a lot of different ways for me right now. So.
Yeah, I mean, Eric and I were doing fractional CMO work before we heard what the term was, because we were just doing it because you just kind of had to do it.
Yeah.
You had to kind of take them soup to nuts on everything and organize them and give them like a strategy and goals. And we were already doing it. We just didn't know that was a thing
for it, like fractional CMO.
And so now I've been acting as fractional CMO for clients, and it's great because it comes in with that built-in like, hey, you only got me for part of a week, technically, or like it's going to have an interim time frame if they're trying to find a full-time solution kind of thing. So I prefer that better than worrying about, hey, I got them on retainer from my agency standpoint, and they might just bounce, at the end of the contract.
Right. You get to do the bouncing.
Well, it's a little bit more, you come in with a little bit more authority too than like a lot of people give agencies credit for, I found. Because they'll treat you like the peon rep that a lot of bigger agencies send over to talk to clients, account executives.
I remember that.
Right? But you come in as a fractional CMO, you're like, do this, don't do this, we shouldn't do this, here's a plan, let's follow that. And you don't have to sit around and do all the pesky stuff.
Yeah, I think it works out for everybody because when you're working with multiple clients at the same time, you're gathering insights and concepts of what's working, what's not working for other clients in other situations. You're able to implement or suggest things that are, that's the right fit for them. And they don't have to overly commit, but they're also getting a good quality arrangement. So yeah, I agree with that.
So make no mistake, marketing attribution is wild. It's volatile if you really look at how people report their marketing, the analytics, performance, attribution. And it's so crazy to me, the spectrum of different ways people look at it. Some business owners look at nothing but want the report. There's some that want the details and want to ask you everything. There's some that are really like concerned about social media presence when they don't really need it, and that's not really the strategy, but they get stuck on it because they use it all the time. Tell us how you got into attribution. What do you think the biggest thing going on where it gives this different variety? There's so many different ways people look at marketing reports.
Yeah. So, I think what got me interested in it originally is, I held previous marketing jobs where I was held to no proof of what it's doing to the revenue, but I was in one marketing job where I was getting compensated partially off of the amount of sales that's being done. And so at that point in time, I didn't need to prove, hey, this marketing is doing X to the sales, but it was to my own benefit to see more sales. So that I think is what it originally triggered me. And in a lot of ways, even there, they were happy because the sales were, they were outpacing the market of what the market was doing in general on a percentage basis. And so there was no need to dive into the weeds and the details of attributing it, but they could see from the final result that, the marketing's working of sorts because they're doing well. But then I go into other jobs where, I've had a lot of times I've been asked, hey, present this plan to a CFO or a CEO. And I present the plan, and sometimes I've had the chance to go run with it. And, I think, majority of the times it fortunately has worked out, but there's reason. It was an educated projection here. So the thing is that when I get the chance to run with something, like I said, I mean, the track record's pretty good, but there's sometimes when I present a plan to CFOs or CEOs and they are, they don't want to sign off on it or don't fully believe it's going to work. And then, so it never even gets into action. And then, so this is what triggered me to want to really learn, okay, it's from two sides. One, from the projection side, how do you truly project it out? But then two, afterwards, proving it so you continue to get the sign-offs on the budget. So for me, it's really about just making sure I always have access to do the campaigns I need to do. And, you mentioned there's lots of ways to do attribution. And I think, many people probably have heard on this podcast, the first touch point attribution, the last touch point attribution, and the multi-touch point attribution.
We should be explaining that, but I don't know if we do, because it gets kind of granular for people. And we'll, as you explain it, we'll see if we can find more of like a metaphor to kind of bring it all back out. Because
not everybody wants to go that deep.
Yeah, I mean, we're marketing heavy in the talk on this show, more entrepreneurship kind of heavy. But why don't you go ahead and explain? Because and look, if you need to take a smoke, get a margarita. You seem a little wound up for someone who's over in San Diego. So it's just a conversation. I hope this doesn't feel like interrogation. I mean, we're two dicks and tank tops. Huh? I'm having a stroke, but it's just a convo. I think I was looking at you explaining everything, and I was like, oh, I wonder if he has the thing. Sometimes I'll get where you have like the next thing. I got to make sure to say this next thing and the next thing, and I'm trying to say it formally, but
it definitely helps people in that scenario to feel better and more secure when you sit.
Hey, we're all friends.
Point it out.
We're all friends. Yeah, no, by bringing it up, we're all buddies. We'll edit it out in post. You love doing that.
Wow.
No, we just want you to.
Sounds good. I
don't want you to feel like you have to be too formal.
Sure, yeah, and I appreciate that. I'm usually a pretty intense type of guy, so that's just
me too.
The way
I've been called that a lot.
I appreciate.
Yeah,
Brandon, would you rather be covered in bees or spiders?
Man,
bees.
Yeah, that's what I said too. Bees all day. You didn't even answer.
I said bees nuts.
Yeah, that's not an answer. You deflect.
That's pretty funny though. Bees for sure. Bees.
I thought it would be a better. Okay. Anyway, I really needed to know that.
Look, this is a podcast that's entrepreneurship plus silly time, fun time jokes, and would you rather's. So,
that's the unique thing about this one. It looks like you guys like to have some fun. So.
Well, I mean, how many business conversations you've had that were like the craziest shit was said in the meeting, and you're like, if that was public, that would be wild.
Yeah.
But we just think there's a lot of humor in the business world, especially in marketing.
There's a lot of masking going on. There's a lot of people putting on a face for the business,
and it's all wrong.
It's always like, I just wrote that on my resume because that's what everybody else got on there. I don't really, it's just like, okay, what are we doing?
People trying to sell themselves incorrectly, or like trying to be bigger than themselves, which I'm sure you deal with small business clients. Like, that's usually kind of a goal is like, hey, we're going to make you look a little bit bigger, more mature than you might actually be, but that's part of the branding we're going to set you up with. Sorry, we cut you off.
No, I mean, what you were just saying, I was going to say, I think there's certainly some herd mentality in marketing where you said, I'm just going to say this just because that's the key line to say or something. Because I've heard so many people just, saying the conventional marketing wisdom. And it's sometimes I agree with this, sometimes I don't. But I'm happy to explain what the first touch point and that last touch point is.
Please.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So, first touch point attribution, let's say you run, you do a mailer and you run a social media campaign after you do, a variety of channels. So that first touch point is that first piece of content that hit them, wherever that is, whether that's on a TV ad, a mail ad, a social media ad. But that first piece that maybe they didn't go ahead and submit their lead yet or their contact information or make the purchase yet, that first contact makes receives all the attribution and says that's the reason why we got that sale. The last touch point attribution is, okay, you may have been working these people for a long period of time, doing email newsletters and all kinds of, elements, but then you ultimately, it was a Google search ad or whatever it was that that was the final ad and that's where they submitted their information or made the purchase. That's the last touch point. And then there's multi-touch point. And this is the one that I don't think people, or as a marketing industry, we're very good at yet, which is how to attribute it for all the different touch points that have occurred through the customer's journey.
100% agree. Like, first off, if you can get attribution to show just all the touch points and that they touched them or not.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. How do you even do that? How do you connect all that?
That's step one first. Like that part, a lot of people, omni-channel is a big cool marketing term that a lot of people do in the sales pitch. And what it means kind of as
We're
someone
going to do a lot of stuff.
Well, right. And it's like, just like you're saying, I go to the car scenario, buying a car. They say on average, there's 25 touch points before you buy a car. 19 are digital, right? And that first touch point could be driving by the dealership. It could be a Chevy dealership where you just know the Chevy brand. Technically, that would be the first touch point, right? Or it would be a snail mailer or, referral or whatever it is. There's a myriad of different first touches, right? And then the closing touches might be, you think you're doing pocket research on the car so you can negotiate a price while you're on the lot, but they got you geo-fenced in. So when you're searching for organic stuff, it's all websites they've made to curl you back in, right? Or they're geo-fencing you in when you're trying to search. So there's a lot of cool, kind of cool, not for the user necessarily, the consumer, because a lot of them don't.
VPN, no big deal.
A lot of them don't know, but you're correct. Like, it's so tough to weight this correctly. How do you weight it? Do you have without having
an extensive survey of the customer?
Well, right, but they don't even know half the time. That's why, like those forums where they go, "How'd you hear about us?" I never give them a high. That's like a fun thing to ask, but I never think that's. It's not a high confidence rate of what they thought. Like, you put Google ad. Did you click on an ad or search? People 90% of the time search, even if they clicked an ad, because they don't know the difference. So
and they don't care.
Yeah,
and a lot.
Like you said, sometimes things are passive, and some things are more active that you're aware of what you're seeing.
Ads, right? That could be playing in your head. My kids know the Morgan & Morgan
Pound Law. That's all. I wanted to get that sound drop.
They love all that stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, they got my kids to sing it to me when the ad's not on the air. I need Sirius Radio or something.
Yeah.
Sure.
But how I know it's really tough to give an answer for this in a blanket kind of way, but how do you give attribution? How do you figure out how to give the correct weight to touch points?
Yeah, well, this is something, there's some theories on it or some different research and things about it, but I plan to try to figure that out in a way that is very, like I said, able to be done on the front end of a projection, but also able to do afterwards once a campaign is done and results have happened. And so I'm going to be going to, I know you guys are there in Tampa. I'm going to be going to University of Florida's, in Gainesville there, doing a DBA starting in July.
Woo!
This is a doctorate of business administration, so it's the step past the MBA.
You got your cutoff jean shorts? Yeah.
And my whole goal with this is to is that what they do in Gainesville?
Oh, you don't know about jorts, bro? Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know about jorts, but I don't know about what they do in Gainesville.
It's the swamp, man. It's the coldest and hottest place in Florida, according to my dad. It does feel that way because it is on a swampland.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they love jorts. It's like the running joke. The running kind of like.
Okay. I might have to get me a pair before I head out there in July.
You mean make you a pair?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
you got jeans, right?
Made. You can't just buy a pair.
No, you can't buy distressed cutoffs.
No hemming.
but yeah, and that's a great program you're going into there. I know all the business and mathematics at UF is outstanding. You'll be one of the few non-Asian people probably in it. Just something to throw out there. I don't know. Got a lot of international.
I'm sure Brandon has.
But so what are you going to be working on for your DBA?
Yeah, so it's the first couple years first this is a program made for people that are going to continue working. So it's for executives who you do 10, 15 hours a week and you do some weekend residencies, but it doesn't mean I'm stopping my career. But as I go out there, then I'm going to be probably focusing my project on this marketing attribution and the synergy that's built between different channels. So the best way I can describe it is like, let's say you're running a TV ad, a radio ad, and a social media ad, and you take out the radio ad. What does that do to the total revenue? You put the radio ad back in. What does that do to the total revenue? And so it's not about, okay, what did the TV ad do? Because you could probably track that with unique phone numbers, unique web URLs, the same with the social media ad. It's about what did the synergy, the intermingling, the mix of the whole, all the different channels do together to create a result. And I'm mentioning it in a simple way of 3 variables, but you could probably put, 20 variables together.
That's brilliant, and it's right under it's right under our noses because it's like, oh yeah, obvious. That makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
Just take it out.
Yeah.
And you'll figure it out with the data when it's not there. But I probably, if you gave me that problem to figure out, it would take me a long time to get to that.
Well, I mean, that requires patience because then that means you're not.
I'm the most patient guy on earth.
You're not even like, then you don't have those marketing dollars going out. You're not spending and you're not, and that's like. For a lot of marketing executives, that is not fun time. They want to get as much as they can because they don't want to lose that revenue.
Well, that's my first thought, right? Was like you'd have to be doing that with live campaigns. But if you just had enough data, sample size data, you could run that kind of with previous 6 months or whatever, right?
Could you though?
But if you're changing all the time,
if
if you're adapting all the time and changing a lot all the time, then it's going to be tough.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Because that's how we normally have to do things. But he's talking, they actually plan stuff and then they don't fidget with it every other day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that's part of the challenge. I got to figure out how to make it, practical in that. But the way I've seen this is like there's sometimes I taught it in a marketing class once. For an MBA class that was like with the Harvard Business Review has this program where it's a simulation of you're running a company and you are choosing on the product, price, place, promotion, all the like maybe there's 10 different variables in all of those 4 Ps and you're changing the levers on each one. But so you add 20 times 4, there's 80 variables and every little change in variables does something to the overall. Now, the thing is that simulation is still somebody plugging in that, hey, moving this lever this way is going to create this result. But I guess my goal is probably to do something like that. But I think one of the biggest challenges is going to be, okay, while you can maybe line up 20 different kinds of marketing channels and how they all mingle, it's location differs, seasonality differs, time as society moves on year after year, it differs. So how do you keep up with the current environment that's out there? I think that will be the biggest challenge. So
yeah, I think like you're saying, to figure out, it's a big algebra problem in my head. I don't know if that's how you see it, but it's like if you think about it, you try to find the common denominator to take out all those trending seasonal year to year if you can, right? All those things that may be a variable that's not qualified to gauge against, right? And then so you can strip it so that common denominator is able to be able. Now everything's kind of where it should be, like without any temporary kind of volatility. Does that make sense? Is that?
This is really brilliant. I'm glad I'm having the conversation because I'm kind of brainstorming it out. And I think that's it because the way I looked at this when you just said it is like, I don't know what it's called, but you know those kind of like splicers for like a tomato. You stick a tomato in and you pull it down and it chops it up. Mm-hmm. Those align in a certain way that every time it falls, like a scissor falls in between. So what you're saying is like, okay, just get that top layer or one, like get the framework that never changes, figure it out. And then every single person after that can put the layer that is unique to them, and it just is a filter. It's a filter, basically. You're putting a filter on top of the photo. You know what I mean?
What I'm trying to say is take out anything that. So let's say a trending topic, right? That's going to adjust your SEO, and maybe you'd adjust your PPC to that, right? Your online ads, right? So take out the trending. However you figure out that VIG is that delta is on the trending for those two tactics, and then you got to look at the other 8 categories you might be doing. Like, did this affect our snail mail? Then I need to deduct whatever. Did this affect that? And then figure out the percentages. So anything that's temporary or anything that's that you can't really forecast, right? Because trending is really tough to forecast unless it's seasonal, and it's got 5 years of data before those seasons, right? So you can look at it. And then you even have shit like, the COVID year, which it kind of messes a lot of things up. Those are kind of years you may not want to use, right? 2019, 2020, even 2021, depending on what it is, the service or product. But my thing was always like, all you do in a lot of algebra and calculus is you try to make everything as
balance the equation.
Well, yeah, common denominator, so you can multiply, add, subtract, divide, and then you could displace that one thing out and go
exactly.
That's how much it's value.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. And so what's the purpose behind this? My fiance is in she studies brain cells and stuff at UCSD out here in a PhD. And I'm like, what some of the stuff they do, I'm kind of like, okay, that it's amazing, but what does finding that answer, then what do you do with that answer? So, the purpose of this is going to be to solve the problem when we went back earlier in the conversation where I said, sometimes I know in my mind or my heart that this plan is going to work, and I can't convince the person to sign off on it. Now I'll be able to come with a system and present it. Hey, this is why it's going to work. It's not just me telling you it's going to work. There's some proof here, or after the fact, here is exactly how it all affected the result. And so that's my goal with this, is that put that back in that practical format.
Yeah, and then an easy way to explain that to the person when you're handing the report to them, right? Because that's part of this. Communication's the tough part, right? We're taking kind of a complex math problem, and then you got, I know I've done this before. Like, I get the report, and I'm like, good. It's like doing a term paper. Like, I got it done for the client, and then I never think about it, and then we meet, I'm like, oh shit, I should have prepped a way to explain some of this high level stuff, right? And so here's something I'm going to pitch to you, and maybe we'll keep in touch as you're doing this project, because I'm very interested in this because it seems like a solvable problem,
right?
And God knows there's got to be a better way to do this, but it's not the incentives of the agencies usually to do it, because they're trying to hide some numbers sometimes,
right? Yeah,
they're trying to charge you on ad spend 20% VIG. Get those some of those things under the curtain, under the rug, which is, I don't think, the best way to do business long term, honestly. But my thing with reporting, I want it to be like doctor's vitals, right? Doctor does rounds. They look at a clipboard. What's the first thing? Your vitals.
Standardized.
That should be your ROI, right? And then maybe your top 3 things that are indicators of that. Here are the top 3 things. We need to look for click percentage on our online organic and ads. We need to look at, how many people contact us for that initial sales call from our snail mail and this other indicator, whatever it is, right? These are our big 3 to look out for that you can always jump in, look at those stats when I'm not around. Then all the pages behind it are all just the backup for each tactic you're doing, right?
That makes sense.
By category, like tactical category, and then by platform within that. Because people get caught up, they really get hung up in little things that don't matter. I feel like we're not that great at understanding analytics, I think. And I think that first page needs to have cost per lead, cost per acquisition, average revenue, first year of a service, if you're a service company, or average revenue, first time purchase.
Industry benchmarks.
Then lifetime.
What does good look like? Nobody knows is that a good number? You have to put that shit on there too, so they know.
Right.
You have to be honest with it.
And here's what I do that I like doing, and I point it out because I think it's integrity wise. This is how they look at it anyway, but I think it's an integrity thing. I'll show you're spending every dollar you're getting, for every dollar you're spending, you're getting 38 back, right? This is a real scenario I had. Then I had an adjusted ROI, and I go, here's my management fee you're paying every month on top of that. This is how you see it. That I know that. That's how business owners see it, right? Here's why I started doing it, because they feel that number is a lot lower than it actually is with your fee in, but they never really did the simple, math on it.
Yeah.
So I put the adjusted ROI. Here's your ROI. One for every $1 you're getting 38 back. Here's the adjusted.
You call one ROI and the other one return on ad spend.
I just called it adjusted ROI because it's everything.
I'm saying when you include your management fee, you call that one the ROI.
Well, I call it adjusted because I don't want to confuse the two, because I want to be able to boast, hey, for every dollar we're spending, we're getting 38 back. And then the
your work is creating this, but now this is what you cost, and then this is what they profit still after.
And usually whatever tactics I'm doing and the fee of the agency or myself as a fractional CMO, it's usually all their marketing spend, right? It's all under things I'm touching. And so I put the adjusted ROI and go, okay, for every dollar you're spending with the fee and everything else, it's for every dollar we're spending, we're getting 35 back. And that, has it really moved the needle that much? No. If people that understand, that's great. If real business owners, more mature businesses read that, they fucking go ballistic. If you're getting 35-1.
Yeah. I mean, if you're doing that, the thing that they should be, and you can prove it to them, if they're, smart and they've got cash flow, they should be investing until that 35-1 diminishes down to where there's no
starts
more,
to trend downward,
until their money can go do something better elsewhere. And at that point, then maybe they even tell you, hey, create another campaign, a different channel, a different campaign, a different location that restarts that, eliminates that diminishing return. But they should pursue that to the fullest until diminishing returns start to occur.
Well, look, dude, we'll get our math lead on because we got to close this episode out. It was good talking to you. I know math is a little tough to talk on the podcast sometimes, so I think we did a
pretty good
fair job. Anything?
Thanks for having me on.
Where can people find you? Where should they go to find you? On LinkedIn? Is that what you said earlier?
Yeah, probably LinkedIn. Brandon, Branden, and then Cobb, Cobb. I do this fractional marketing service under marketingexec.us, so you can find me there as well.
And then you'll be Dr. Cobb after the program?
If all goes as planned, yes.
All right, get your jorts going. Get them ready.
All right, will do.
All right, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.